Hey, everybody, and welcome to Bachelor Chad. I am sitting here with my co-host, Renee Ariel. Today, we're going to be talking a little bit about the Super Bowl, some Maroon 5, as well as a Bachelor recap, and how to slide into the DMs.
You're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
You don't gotta go to work, but you gotta put in work.
I love this song.
It's great, right?
This is, when this first came out on the radio, I was obsessively listening to it.
Oh, yeah. I listened to it. I would play it every day. Like if I was driving 30 minutes, it's just getting replayed, like,
That's what you gotta do.
Yeah.
Okay, wait, unpopular opinion. Do you know their song that they released after this when Camila left the band that sounds just like this?
Well, they did? There's another one that sounds just like this and no one told me?
But here's the thing. It's like a wannabe that song because it was such a hit and then Camila left, so they felt like they had to make up for it. I have to look up this name.
Yeah, and I need to know this because I need a new song to replay every 5 seconds.
I will find, gosh, Down.
Down?
Look this up when you get home. Everyone listening, look up this song and tell me it does not sound just like Work From Home.
All right, that's going to be my new flavor of the year.
Please make it.
I definitely replayed that song like thousands of times on Snapchat back in the day, all through 2017.
Jeff in the booth got us.
Oh, you got it?
Just go to the chorus, because that's where it's like... Here we go, right? Hey.
The Work From Home just it hits.
It's better.
It hits. It's in your heart.
But this was their wannabe Work From Home. Like this was their follow-up. What do we do?
Very close. It's very similar.
It's close. I think the same producers produced this song too.
They definitely did. But it's just the wording. It's gotta really strike. Like you hear that one and it hits entrepreneur's heart. You know.
Yeah, you're like I work from home.
Like I love it. Yeah.
Chad, how was your weekend? What's going on?
So the weekend was good. I actually just moved into a new apartment.
Oh, you're moving.
Yeah.
That's rough.
Well, the thing is, so I was just staying in an Airbnb for the last like 6 months.
What?
It was more like a sublease.
Oh,
than
okay,
like an Airbnb. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just kind of because when I got back to LA, I didn't know what I was going to do. And I'm like, I want to buy a house. Let me just get something in the meantime.
Yeah.
And so finally, after a while, it just became too much of like a pain in the ass and dealing with the guy, you know what I mean, that would like own the thing or whatever. So I went ahead and signed a lease, got my own place now, but still got no furniture. Haven't had furniture for like 3 days.
That's tough. When I first moved to LA and I had nothing, that's when you're the bare minimum. I can sit on the floor and eat dinner. It's gonna be fine. It's tough. But then I realized what's worse is moving when you have stuff, because it's impossible to put it all back where you found it when you move into the new place. When I got into my new apartment, which was like 2 years ago, it took probably 3 weeks for me to empty all my boxes, mostly because I was lazy. Also, I was busy.
And I do that girl thing where you just take 8,000 things and just dump into a box.
Put into a box. I got movers. They're the best.
At this point, I've moved so much that I just I keep everything in like specific little areas, and I know
smart.
I can just dump this drawer into here, and I know it goes right back into another drawer when I get to the next place.
Oh my God, you're prepared for the zombie apocalypse.
Military,
honestly, wow.
But I get to get all my nice stuff out of I've had a storage building for like a year where I have all my nice stuff just sitting in there. You know what I mean?
I've never been to a storage unit. Is that weird?
It's like indoors. It's nice. It's not like sketchy.
Good. I always think of that's where they keep
a fence, and there's like people hanging out like, hey man.
Whenever there's a crime committed in any Law and Order show, someone has a storage unit. Yeah. They're creepy, but I'm glad there's one nice indoors.
Yeah, it's nice. Whoa.
Exactly.
Ooh,
sound effects. This might be, so I don't watch sports. I feel like I need to get this off on the table. Don't watch them, don't care about them. I still root for all the teams in Boston because I'm from Massachusetts, but that's about it. So naturally, if it were any other game, I wouldn't care. But the Super Bowl, I felt like I had to watch because I love food. I love going to people's houses. I like to eat. And also I like to win. And I knew the Patriots would win, and they're from Boston. So, if they lost.
Are you from Boston?
I'm from Western Mass. So, pretty much,
Yeah, same general vibe.
Exactly. And the good part about this game was even if the Patriots lost, the other team's LA. So I could then pretend that I actually wanted the other one to win. But
that makes sense. Okay.
Thank you.
So win-win.
So the Patriots won, but it was the most boring game of all time. And I'm not just saying this because I hate sports. CNN literally had an article called "The Worst Super Bowl Ever."
I saw that like Bachelor Betches online was like, this Super Bowl was so bad, ABC wants to make it The Bachelor.
Yes, I saw that
Like,
too.
oh, that's bad.
Oh my God, there were so many good tweets out there, some good memes, because it was so boring. No one scored a touchdown for the first 3 quarters.
3 quarters, nothing?
The fourth quarter is when they got their first touchdown.
I went to the gym. I was supposed to meet a girl out, and I just didn't.
You just went. Did you stand her up?
No, it was like, hey, come to the bar. And I was like, well, I'm heading to the gym. And then I kind of like forgot and just kind of lived my life. And by the time I hit her back up, it was like 8 p.m. And I was like,
Hold on a
bad.
second. Did you say, hey, I'm going to the gym for an hour. Let's meet at this time? Or did you?
No, it was just like, I'm going to head to the gym, hit you up after. And then I realized like after, I was like, oh, I was there like 3 hours. Whoops.
She's like, wow.
So I missed the game.
That workout was crazy. Yeah, well, you really didn't miss much with the game.
That's what I've heard. And then I heard the thing about like Maroon 5 played. And all I know is that people were talking about like he just like randomly ripped his shirt off in the middle of it, and that was weird.
Yeah.
Or, like he sounded terrible.
It was all of the above. So the whole.
How do they still screw this up? Like
I know. There's
You
been.
know?
They also. I
screw it
love
up every year.
Maroon 5. I love them. Love Adam Levine. Love his wife Bahati. Big fan. Watch the Victoria's Secret fashion show every year. Right. But he's a great voice, but it didn't sound good. There was no good plan or theme to the show. Everyone thought it was going to be. Do you remember? I didn't even remember this. I had to look this up. But a lot of my friends knew SpongeBob had this episode.
Right,
yes,
I saw something
SpongeBob.
about SpongeBob. I didn't understand what anybody was talking about.
So it was confirmed, I guess days before, that SpongeBob would play a part in the show. And everyone thought that meant that they would...
He would show up live?
They would not show up live, but that Maroon 5 would play Sweet Victory, which was the song that in Super SpongeBob, they sang Sweet Victory at a place like the Super Bowl. Like it was a huge sports game.
Is Sweet Victory a song by Maroon 5?
No, that's the other thing. I forget who it's by. Jeff, do you remember who it's by? It's a big. This is me being dumb.
No,
Jamie, pull that shit up.
I'm pretty sure it's a SpongeBob original, you guys.
No, is it?
I think so. Yeah.
That's pretty interesting.
Oh, I thought that the artist. Someone wanted to give them a tribute to the artist. That was something I also read.
The creator of the show, SpongeBob, passed away this year. So it's kind of like a tribute.
That's what it was.
Yeah, Stefan Hillenburg died of ALS.
I feel better now. I was like, if this is some huge artist that I just don't know and should know this song. So they thought they would recreate this little cartoon that we're playing up on the screen of them like in a bubble in a Super Bowl, essentially at a Super Bowl game.
Wow.
So they didn't do that. Instead, they had a little SpongeBob cartoon introduce Travis Scott. Cool, but also very underwhelming. People made fun of the fact that Adam Levine tried to dance when Travis Scott was. Oh, it was just bad. It was like a bob type of deal. There's so many memes and gifs.
See, at this point though, they've been doing so bad and everything's screwed up every single year for what the last like 10 years. Like, is that a method? You know, do you get more press by screwing up? It's just like when I was on the shows, I got so much press for being a dick, but it turned out to like work out. You know, did they plan this? Like, all right, look, you're going to come on, you're going to perform for the Super Bowl, but here's how you're going to screw it up.
Yeah,
you know?
Honestly though,
like, you're going to screw it up in 2 ways, and we're going to give you an option of 5. Choose 2 ways to screw it up, and then you got to like, okay, I'll do a terrible dance. I'll take my shirt off.
The SpongeBob thing, I'll underwhelm them with that. Honestly, that's very possible.
We're going to get loads of tweets, you know, because if it went well, people would just be like, performance was good, and they'd tweet about it. But if it's horrible, that's how you really blow up.
That's true, except the one year that everyone, and this was how many years ago was Lady Gaga? Jeff, do you know this? When Lady Gaga performed at the Super Bowl, she exceeded everyone's expectations by far.
That's true. She did really well. Wait, was that the time when she had like her stomach out, but her stomach wasn't quite? Or am I thinking of someone else?
I don't know.
I think it was Lady Gaga. She had her stomach out, but it was like, it was kind of like falling over her pants a little bit.
Like she was wearing the tight outfit you're talking about.
Like she trained, but like she wasn't quite there yet.
Ooh.
You know what I mean? Almost had it.
I love that that's what you remember from Lady Gaga's performance.
I remember thinking like, was that on purpose? Like, that's when I very first got into like kind of understanding the fact that a lot of stuff is like, seems like it was an accident.
But it's not.
Yeah.
To get you to talk about it.
Because it's like you're looking at her and you're like, well, if you had trained for 3 more weeks or started 3 weeks earlier, you'd have been shredded. You were so close. But by being like a little bit off, like everyone's like, you should be proud. And you know what I mean? You get that like women power thing. And it's like, so it works out. Okay, so she's got like 3 extra pounds. She doesn't look bad, but she gives women that little bit of like, you can do it too, you know?
I didn't even think about that. I only think of when she did that like dive, she jumped from somewhere, and then there was all those endless memes of actual footage of me jumping to conclusions. That was my favorite thing. I still see that meme today.
See that right there. There's so many supplements out there, and there's so many different things that you can do. In 2.5 weeks, 3 weeks, she could have literally looked like a fitness model. So it's like if she really has all this money and all these trainers and aides and everything around her, like if she really wanted to, it's super easy to just change a couple different things in her diet.
You make it sound so. I want these. How do you, what?
It just takes a lot of discipline, calorie counting, and
listen, discipline number one.
But when you know you're going to be on that type of, it's just like The Bachelor. You know what I mean? Like when you go into that show, like you know, half these girls they look amazing, but you're like, but what do they look like regularly?
Oh yeah, you got to train for that, especially if you're going to paradise because you live in a bikini.
Yeah, even me after I did the show, so like I showed up just absolutely shredded, and then after the show, I would do like appearances, and they'd be like, "You don't really look the same," because I like put on like 20 pounds, and I'm like, "Well, yeah, it's like a bodybuilding competition. Like you're on TV, it's a competition to be the most shredded, basically." That's
so funny because it's probably so different from the girls. I mean, they obviously they want to look hot, and they got to find the right. Because I always think with girls, I think guys can get away with it easier on the show with suits. Like, how many suits do you actually need to bring on the show? Like, women, I read that one woman spent about $8,000.
Oh, I did. I spent like $7,500, I think. You know, all said and done on suits, new clothes, everything.
Oh my God, Chad.
Yeah.
That's insane. That's so stressful to buy a whole new wardrobe. I mean, exciting, but also
I bought everything. I still wear all those suits though.
I mean, you better.
Yeah.
$7,200 later, you're gonna be wearing them.
Exactly, and I got paid nothing. You know?
That's the worst. So. Can't you get like sponsors now though that they know you're going on?
I mean nowadays, but I mean that's the thing. I didn't do the calculations on that. Coming off as the bad guy isn't exactly the best way to get sponsorships.
Yeah, so. I can guess that. But should we get into actually our Bachelor recap?
Yeah, let's get into it a little bit.
Okay, so this is very exciting because I unfortunately had to miss the Bachelor after show last night because I just started a new job where I do work from home and I with the trendy.
I was like, they had an after show?
You're like, what? And I have been so busy, but I was thrilled that we get to talk about it today because what an episode.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts?
I mean, to me, it was a lot of jibber jabber. I mean, just from the beginning. And like I said, I mean, I was scrolling through my phone as I was watching it, you know.
I'm a witness.
Kind of checking on some things, making sure everything's good to go in the world of the internet. And it looked like, okay, so what happened? Give me a reminder of where we initially started because I can't even look back now. I know the way it ended.
Okay. So the 3, I guess, things to talk about. So there was Heather's one-on-one date. That was the never been kissed girl.
Okay, never been kissed. I remember. Okay, I'm good to go now.
I have so many thoughts on this. I think that this date was to make Colton look better. Is that terrible to say? I think she's so cute, but also he would have looked like a jerk, and that would have been very off-brand for what they want him to be if he didn't give her her first kiss, and they didn't have that. The fireworks, like that was so beyond planned. Like the amount, like down to like, okay, you're gonna talk about the kissing, how it's serious, and then you're gonna act like you're not gonna kiss her, but then, boom, you are. So
I totally thought he wasn't going to.
Oh, me too.
I was like, there's no way.
He's not gonna do it.
And then I even made an Instagram story. I was like, kiss her, bro.
Oh, yeah. Because if it was natural and if he actually liked her and if it wasn't just for TV, guess what? That kiss would have already happened. Just like
hours and hours before. Like, she was sitting there staring at him. Like,
yeah. They forgot to give Cassie the rose on the date because he was so into her that they probably didn't have enough time to add that in as well. Like, if you're that prepared to the point where you're like, okay, this is when we're going to kiss, you're not that into that person.
Yeah, that's something that you don't really plan. It seemed a little bit manufactured, I'd say. I mean, it was just like, is she... And first off, how is the girl not being kissed? Okay. Yeah. She's got it. She's got blonde hair. She's got the teeth.
She's so cute.
She's thin. Everything's working out for her. Looks fantastic. Doesn't seem super weird or anything. Seems funny.
But what blew my mind is that she was in an 8-month, I don't even know if you call it relationship. She was dating a guy for 8 months and didn't kiss him.
Wait, she said that?
She said that. 8 months.
Dear God, that poor man. I have to figure out who this is. And
can we get him on our show?
Can we get him on? I'm just gonna tweet at him, bitch.
8 months,
Bro.
not even a peck.
Can you imagine? I mean, I can't imagine if one of my friends sat here like, bro, I dated her 8 months. We wouldn't kiss. Like, even if you were like a weekend, I'd be like, bro,
No kiss.
no, like, you got to cut that off. And then
because it makes it
even 5
awkward.
months in, you're still like, well, I haven't really kissed her yet. I
Even
don't know.
a month, when she said 8 months, I was like, whoa, that's a long time. And then she's like, I kept it dragging on longer than I meant to. 8 months?
Yeah, that's
beyond.
a long time. And I mean, the thing is, like, sex has to be a part of a relationship. Otherwise, you might as well just be friends.
But
and it's like, what was she doing with the guy?
sex, I can understand more so, like, waiting
had
for
waited, yeah.
the right person or whatever. Even like,
Of course, if I was with somebody for 8 months and they hadn't decided I'm the right person to have sex with, I'm going to say, okay, well, you don't know how to make decisions then.
you would have never been right for Colton then because
Me and Colton are not going to work.
So yeah, I found that a little odd. And here's the thing, not to judge anyone because I know everyone's had all sorts of different experiences and sometimes maybe you just haven't found that person. But to me, the
Right.
most shocking part was that she dated someone for that long and nothing even accidentally happened. Like she didn't even try it.
Right.
You know?
It's a hard thing, too, especially when you're talking about stuff like this, is like, when you're talking about stuff like this, you're talking about like the majority. When you're like 95% of people, like, okay, you probably should have made out with somebody. Of course, there's some situations with 2-3 different percent of
Totally.
people. But those people are the loudest on Twitter, though. You know what I mean? Those 2 or 3% where they're like, they start hitting you up, like, how dare you come at someone for just because she shouldn't choose to kiss you? And you're like, come on, we're not talking about you. We get it that there's some situations.
1,000%. Like when we weren't too on Colton about him being a virgin because that wasn't the issue that there was a guy
Right.
in his 20s being a virgin. It was that we knew he had a serious relationship because he dated someone that was a public figure.
And he was a football player. And he was on TV.
And he's gorgeous. Like it's all
Yeah.
of the things combined that we were like, something's not adding up. And then the
Right.
last episode when he was speaking to Kaylin,
Like if he was a computer programmer living at his mom's house,
we'd be
I'd
like,
"All
of
right,
course,
well,
welcome to the Bachelor. Hope you pop
Yeah.
your cherry.
I hope you get you some.
So yeah, I think she's gonna not go home next week because that would be too mean. She just had her first kiss.
Yeah.
Give it 2 weeks.
You give it 2 weeks?
Yeah, because she's got to have 1 week where he like still keeps her on.
Oh yeah,
because
yeah.
he just.
Oh, you're talking about like the technicalities.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Okay,
yeah. He can't get rid of her next
No,
week. That'd
he'd
be
look like
so
a bad
mean.
guy.
Totally.
Yeah.
So he's got to wait at least 2
That'd
weeks.
be funny if he did right after he kissed her, though.
Right? He's like, sorry, you don't
"Gotcha."
get the rose. That'd be so cruel.
He like sits in front of her. Oh,
Good luck.
can't
Go
get
find
that
that
one
guy.
back. Yeah.
And then we had the group date, which was, God, I find group dates usually not that entertaining, but I thought this one was funny because everyone's kind of finding their friends. And then I didn't even know. So Hannah G, the two Hannahs are friends with Demi. I never would have thought that Hannah B,
Right.
Hannah G, and Demi would be a group, but I love that they ended up going for like the survival game where they had to like find food and water. They just left the jungle and went to a store and got it. That was funny.
That was pretty good. Yeah, I was actually I was super concerned when I saw the scorpion because I was like, dude, that could kill the girl.
Oh, yeah.
But if you looked at it really closely, you could see where beforehand they had cut its tail off, so it couldn't actually. Because I was like, there's no way. Like, can you imagine the like drama? Like, hey, we got to shut down production because a girl just got killed by a scorpion.
That's how you
So
go.
I looked at that. I was like, oh, okay, you can see where its tail was cut off, the part where they would actually inject her. If
Oh,
you know.
good. Yeah, I wasn't sure about that. I was like, I wouldn't do that. And then poor Hannah B just keeps eating shit for Colton. Like, first she ate the eye, and now she ate
She's
a
like
bug.
the James. So on my season, James Taylor, who kept always shoving stuff in his mouth.
Yeah.
So she's like the James Taylor of this season, like funny, fun.
Yeah,
always
actually, I
like,
see
let
that.
me eat something. Country. It's the country people are always eating something.
I mean, I'm always eating something, let's be real. I could totally see Hannah B going to Paradise. I don't see her winning.
Yeah, I don't see her winning either, but I think definitely there's going to be some country guy. I don't know what country guys there are. Maybe they'll get James Taylor.
Oh, God.
He'd be a good fit. He'd be a great fit.
I think they'd be cute together. Or, you know how I also could see them bringing
I
to
don't know, though,
Paradise?
after that note thing that he
You
did.
were going to say Luke?
No, I was going to say after that note what James Taylor did. You remember?
What did no? Tell me the no.
Well, he had this note where he like, because I'm friends with James, you know
Oh,
what I mean?
tell-
So my bad, James, but like,
We love you, James. I
there's
don't
this
know you,
like
but-
Hughes note where he like sent it to all the girls on the show, like before Paradise, because he thought he was gonna go, and it was like, hey, I've been bad, I've been hooking up and partying way too much, and it was basically something that like the girls probably knew. Once you go on the show, some crazy stuff happens.
Yeah.
But he put it in writing and he sent it to all the girls, and the girls sent it to Reality Steve. And then Reality Steve essentially like blackmailed him and said like, you're going to come on my podcast and address all this stuff, or I'm going to spin it however I want it to be. You know? And so then Bachelor in Paradise were like, can't have you on this for your bud. Like, you just admitted to being basically a man whore and doing a whole bunch of terrible things.
Oh my God. I mean, I think he doesn't sound like a bad guy if he like admitted
He's
to
a
it
really
and
good
sent
guy.
it out to all.
Yeah.
That doesn't sound like a bad guy. A bad guy would keep it to himself.
Right.
We all go through rough times. And
That's actually kind of one of the things to me that proves that he is a good guy, because
Yeah.
it's like he did some bad stuff, and all the other guys are doing all that stuff, but he admitted it and he felt bad about it enough to write about it. It's just he was so uncultured in once you do something bad, I shouldn't.
shouldn't write a letter and send it to all the
Maybe
girls.
just bury it deep down, bud.
Yeah. Oh. Okay. So there goes
Sometimes
that.
being a good guy backfires. You know?
Apparently, geez, poor James. And then there was Luke, but Luke turned out to be, I don't know if you remember this, he was on Winter Games, which I
Yeah.
didn't love. Wasn't a big fan of Winter Games, but then I can't remember exactly what happened, but during the
The
reunion,
girl, yeah, he
was a jerk
She was
to
trying
her.
to talk to him, right? And he basically. See, that's the thing. I was a little torn on the situation. So
tell
basically,
me.
So basically, what happened was the cameras they acted like the cameras weren't rolling.
Yes, but
and they
they
were like a
were.
commercial, but they were. And the whole time she was trying to talk to him, basically stating like, like, why couldn't we make it work? And it looked horrible on him.
horrible.
It looked like he basically just like didn't care about her and only cared about the cameras. But at the same time, it was like, you had a lot of time to discuss this stuff away, whether on the phone or whether in person or whatever. And now you're going to bring all this stuff up here. Was she in on the cameras recording? You know what I mean? Did she know like, hey, we're going to be recording?
But I
Or
think
it just seemed weird to me to address all that stuff at that moment.
I agree, but at the same time, if someone's just flat out ghosting you, not answering you, and then you finally get the opportunity to see them, and let's say she did know, it's just, I would think, to prove to America that he's a jerk.
True.
And
Maybe
it-
so.
and
Maybe
it
he did do
worked.
something. Yeah.
So I don't see him going to paradise because of that.
There's things like that happen. When you meet somebody on the show, or like if he met her there, she could tell the first week or two. When we did the reunion, it was probably months and months later.
Yeah.
And it's like you knew it wasn't going to work out. Like you could tell. So to like kind of like then go like berate the kid, and it's like I don't want to take up 100% for what he did because I don't know how it went down. All I'm saying is like you have to be able to open your own eyes, and sometimes people try to like they want to hold on to what they want,
Yeah.
more than what like what's being presented to you. And if you know it's not going to work out, then just you got to move on.
I totally agree. And I think she needed to let it go. But I also think it showed that she needed to let that go. And it showed that he needs to just be kind of more respectful of when
'cause
someone's
he
talking to
wasn't-
him.
yeah.
So it's a mix because I don't think it's a completely black and white situation. And like
True.
it was a show. It was for a few weeks.
And that could have been the only time maybe he'd stopped answering her calls, and that was the only time she actually got to talk to him.
Yeah.
And it was just like, why didn't you try? Why didn't you make it work? In that case, it's like, ooh.
Yeah. He was pretty.
Because he wasn't having it. He was just like,
He was the worst.
Yeah, he just like leaned back like,
I was shocked because during JoJo's season, I liked it. I'm like, wait, you knew him. I don't know why I keep kind of forgetting that. So you lived with him for weeks.
Yeah,
How many weeks?
But I didn't really know him until I got off the show. And we did an appearance together, and he's what you would expect from someone that looks like him. You know what I mean? Like,
Is it bad? When I watched the show, I was like, oh, Luke is like the nice guy. She's like, I love the nice guy.
gotcha.
And then I was like, damn, maybe I'm not a good judge of character after that Winter Games. But let's get back to this season. So there's the group date. I can't even remember who got the rose on. Was there a rose on the group date or no? I don't think there.
I don't think there was.
No, there wasn't because. Wait, what? No, yes, there was. Hannah B. Because Hannah B told him that she was falling in love with him.
Okay, that's right.
Do you believe that? After being on a show where obviously feelings can be rushed a little bit and you have to be obsessed with one person, it's a competitive environment, like do you think week 4, week 5, I think it's week 5 that people could be falling in love?
I would say it's definitely possible if she hadn't had the whole fight situation. Because the fact of the matter is the only thing she's been talking about with him, with the girls, with production has been that fight. She is, whether she wanted to or not, that's the way things are going to be driven because that was what was going on.
Yeah.
So to randomly, after that situation happened, come out and then say that you're falling in love with somebody, it's like you've probably spoken to the guy like 20 minutes, maybe, since that fight situation. And all you've talked to him about is another girl the entire time. At what point did you start to fall in love? Like, how did that just click over? It almost seemed like, to me, her throwing a Hail Mary.
I actually agree with you on that. That's like, to me, the equivalent of her eating things all the time for him. I think she's like, oh, this will help me. She keeps, because once you're falling behind with someone or once it becomes uneven with power, it's really hard to regain that power. It's really hard to get back to a good place. So I think especially on a show like this where she already wasn't the front runner, let's be honest, maybe top 5, but she's not going to be top 3 or 2. I doubt it.
See, on my season, I knew very quickly. I knew either I'm going to win or I'm going to go home soon. I knew there was no middle ground. I wasn't going to be second. I wasn't going to be third. It was either going to be you choose me or you choose them. Which is exactly what happened. But she chose them.
On your season, because I've talked to a couple of my friends are producers on the show or were. Actually, one of your, you might know this girl. Do you know Naz Perez?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, she just FaceTimed me like 2 nights ago.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know. Really?
Yeah, she was with like 3 girls.
That's so funny. I don't know if she knows we're doing a podcast together. She's great. But she.
We should bring her in.
We should. I'll text her after the show.
Doing this. Yeah.
She probably doesn't, but she follows me on Instagram, so let's see if she watches my story, and then I'll message her and be like, I know you saw.
Okay.
But she was telling me how, as a producer, or maybe just as an editor, it's hard to hide who the Bachelorette's going to pick. Like, it's hard for them to kind of make it not obvious to everyone. So was it that for you? Like, when you were on JoJo's season, could you tell of all the guys that she liked Jordan the most?
You could tell a lot that she liked Jordan, but you could tell I was very, very weirded out by that, and it all made sense after my season. I don't like to screw up the show now, but that was years past. And the fact of the matter is that he walked in and there was something there, and it turns out they had talked before the show. So that, because it was like, why is this dude, like, he walked in and he said like one thing to her, and within 5 minutes he was just on the couch chilling. And it was like, okay, how is this guy this confident? Like, what, you know what I mean? And if you watch it back, when he walks up and he introduces himself, he says, nice to finally meet you. Now, if you just met this girl, it's not what you say.
Unless
it's nice to meet you. It's not, you know what I mean? Like,
unless you're a stalker.
Right. So,
wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so that was the whole thing, is because he knew he'd be good to go, you know? They'd already been chit-chatting for a while.
Wow.
So I'm sorry to bust everybody's bubble there, but...
Well, that makes sense. That's definitely not a fair advantage. However, sometimes that would play against them, like Nick Viall's season. He had that girl that he hooked up with once at a party.
Right.
And clearly there had to be something there. I think they lived apart, but that they angled that like she was a liar and only there for the wrong reasons, you know?
Yeah. That's true. It is kind of weird, like, to her all of a sudden show up now that he's a bachelor. Like, you had a phone. You had a phone for a long time.
Before I am doing this.
Exactly.
And I'm going to be famous.
But I'll tell you what confused me when they say it's hard to hide who they like.
Yeah.
What confuses you is because you're looking for authenticity, right? So you're looking to actually fall in love with somebody, but you want to know that you're not being played. It's just like a girl goes to a bar, and when a guy is like too smooth, you get a little bit...
That's what I always tell my friends.
Right.
If you go on a date and a guy's super confident and not nervous at all, I think he's a player.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
You gotta be
words of advice, you guys.
A little bit nervous in there. So my concern when I was on my season was definitely like when she gave Evan the rose. To me, that was like, okay, if you're doing this with this guy, which, don't bullshit me, like, he ain't gonna win. You're not gonna marry this guy. Okay, then how do I know you're being authentic with me when we're having a conversation? And I was already questioning it in the beginning anyway, just because of the way she spoke in general was kind of very choppy, robot-like a little bit. Maybe she was nervous. I don't know, but it just came across very manufactured at points. And so I was already a little leery of that, and then combine it with the Evan thing, and then it was like, okay, what's going on? You know what I mean? You just start to question things.
Yeah, well, I think as like the Bachelor, Bachelorette, you're always thinking what will make me look the best. I think in my head, I couldn't imagine being into 30, 15, even 10 of the guys, like truly into.
Right.
I'd probably be attracted to some. I'd probably like a bunch as a friend. But I think I would already have it in my head, like, okay, this is the top 3 or top 5 from the beginning.
What if they chose like all the hottest dudes from like your Instagram that you've ever talked to.
Still, you need a connection with someone.
True.
That's hard to find.
I feel like if you pulled all the girls that I've talked to on my Instagram though and bundled them into 30 girls or something,
You'd be screwed.
Oh yeah, it'd be impossible.
You don't know what you'd do.
Yeah, no.
You'd be the most genuine bachelor yet.
Yeah.
You're like, you'd be crying episode one. Like,
Seriously,
I don't want to send anyone home.
And they're all beautiful. Like,
that's why they throw in some weirdos every season.
They gotta throw in like somebody sketchy or weird every once in a while.
Always. You know who's not weird and gorgeous and funny because I read her Instagram is Cassie. Cassie got her first one-on-one date tonight or last night.
Yeah.
I love her.
Twitter was pretty good.
Right? She said she tweeted about how she watched it with her dad that episode and didn't breathe once. That's so awkward.
I saw that. I was like, that's got to be weird.
Because they only showed them making out, and he grabbed her butt.
Oh, he did?
Did you see? I saw that
did not see
immediately. I was like,
grab.
Colton.
Ooh.
I was shocked. Colton. Because this guy, I mean, he's obviously the first Bachelor virgin.
Well, he said he's done stuff, though.
Okay, this is what I said on the Bachelor After Show, and I'm going to run this by you. So listen to me, and this is another one of my critiques with Colton. I'm starting to like him, so please don't get mad. On Bachelor in Paradise, like he was fully set up to be the Bachelor. He only went on Paradise to become the Bachelor, obviously, but he dated Tia on Paradise, asked her to be his girlfriend, and then broke up 2 weeks later. You don't ask someone to be your girlfriend and then break up 2 weeks later unless you're in middle school.
That's true. That's pretty quick. Like,
on top of that,
like if you like what you like 2 weeks in, what changed 2 more weeks?
Exactly. If you like someone
Takes
enough
at least another 6 weeks.
make it
before you realize they're
official.
Crazy.
It's crazy. You got to really get to know someone. So nothing happened, and then on top of that, there was a scene where he said he didn't wear underwear. And Tia's like, you're not wearing underwear. He goes, I never wear underwear, which means she's never been below his belt.
That's true.
Because how else would she not know that he never wears underwear?
How does that not happen in Paradise? Like,
that's what I'm trying to say. There's something, like, he was not doing any under the pants stuff in Paradise, yet he had a girlfriend in Paradise, did not do any. So that means nothing
what about
below.
over the pants stuff?
That's possible. It could have been over the pants
OTP
stuff. Some OTP action in Paradise. Because that's the only thing I could think of.
Right. That's
like, how would you not know?
That's the thing. It's just, I mean, unless you're planning something.
Yeah.
How does that stuff, if you are dating somebody in Paradise and you're hanging out with every night, which every night you're pretty much having some drinks, you're having a good time, how does that not happen? Like, how are you not hooking up a little bit? Unless there's a reason, and that's to come across as, like, such a good person. Oh my God, they wouldn't do that. Like, it just happens.
Just happens.
You know, it can't not happen. If you're dating somebody, every night you're able to spend the night, you know, in the same bed, and you still don't do it. Like, it just, I don't know.
Are there any places in Paradise without cameras to, like, do stuff?
Oh, no. I don't know, because they followed me everywhere.
You're like, can't relate.
That's why they were so, they were talking about, like, oh, you told the cameraman to F off. And it's like, well, you followed me they followed me into the bathrooms.
They followed you to the bathroom?
Yeah, that was actually probably why that whole situation happened. Because
so
there was this big of gaps, but like between it was curtains. There's no doors in the bathroom. It's curtains. So I'd be going in the bathroom and they're sitting there shooting through the thing, and I'm like, bro, if you're gonna get some dick in this, like, you're gonna have to up some pay or something. You know what I mean? Like, what are you doing? You know what I mean? Like,
That's
give me
an
a
extra
minute.
Charge.
Right? I was like,
you don't get that.
I was like, yeah, is this the wrong, am I on the wrong show here? Like, what's going on?
That's what I always saw with reality TV. I don't know if you've ever seen the show Are You the One?
I haven't seen it.
They're
but I know
straight
people from
up taping these people having sex. Like, they are
wow.
maybe under a blanket, but you are seeing thrusts under this
really?
blanket. I'm like, this is
That's like the UK X on the Beach is like that.
really?
Yeah, it's real dirty.
Do they show that on? Because I don't.
They have it on ours.
I watched a few episodes because I'm like, I need to keep up with what's happening. And I didn't see anything too. I don't think I saw really anything inappropriate on your
Yeah,
season.
it hasn't been. I mean, we were all kind of afraid. I mean, the most they've showed is like cuddling, but there was some sketchy stuff. At one point, I think there was like 5 couples all having sex at the same time.
Really?
Yeah,
Well,
so
that's good they didn't
we're
get that.
downstairs, and there's one couch right here, and people are having sex. One couch right here, people are having sex. And then the writer room above, we know for a fact that they were having sex. You could hear them downstairs. And the other room, like on the opposite walls. And I think somebody was in the bathroom right next to So there's 5 couples all like within like a cylindrical 3-foot square foot
Oh
area.
my God. Wait. You were in the same room?
Well, 2 couples were downstairs. Yeah, like 10 feet apart. Like the couch was over there.
Oh,
and
that's
there's one couch
crazy.
here. I mean, after a while, when you got a few drinks in your system, you got adrenaline pumping from the cameras, and you've been there for a while.
And you're like, huh? Why not?
Yeah, because you start hiding it. You try to hide it in the bathrooms, and then after a while, you're like, you know what?
The couches are
Do
more
what
comfortable.
you want to do with it. You know, use it, don't use it. I don't care, but I'm going to do what I want.
Well, that's because at that point, I think you become a little bit delirious. You're like, I've been in this house for how many weeks now? Like, what? You're going to use it? Use it.
Yeah,
Just
exactly.
pay me, please. So anyways, I do want to ask, so a big part of this episode, unfortunately, was this whole thing with Onyeka and Nicole. Onyeka pretty much said that Nicole was there for the wrong reasons. A very famous line in The Bachelor. Oh, yeah. And then Nicole...
Where'd that come from?
Right? I don't know where that originated. You're here for the wrong reasons.
It was out of nowhere, right? Like, do we even know anything about Nicole?
We know nothing. So this is where Onyeka. This is where I thought you meant the wrong reasons thing. It's like, I don't know where that started.
Yeah.
Onyeka, I guess Elise, before she left in that white dress, like fully did. She
totally did her makeup and hair.
This is as fucking girl as I get. Like, I would do this shit. I'd do my hair, put on the priest makeup, the best dress that I was gonna save for the last day when he proposed, and that's what you leave in. Because all the other girls, when they were shooting them as Elise was leaving, were in like sweatpants, no makeup, glasses, and Elise is wearing like a wedding gown.
It was night. He was probably like, "What the hell?"
I was like, "What do you do? You're also not supposed to be in my room. What are you doing, you crazy?"
I remember. I liked when she walked into his room and she was like, "Can I steal you for a sec?" Like, from who? From
like,
who?
I'm alone.
He's alone. Like
just me.
Like, you mean can I talk? Like,
yeah. So Elise left, but apparently before she did, which I find this so out of character, and maybe we just didn't get to know Elise well enough. She told Onyeka, like, when I go, you need to tell Colton that Nicole said she is only on the show because she wants to get out of Miami. First of all, what?
Damn. So like as she was leaving, she just like popped a grenade.
Like before I go, start some shit. Let's get good ratings. Like what? And
That's
then
crazy.
Nicole. And then the funniest part was, oh god, I'm blanking on her name. Jeff, help me. What is Tayshia? Tayshia told when Onyeka was she just confronted Nicole and the girls then. Or Nicole wasn't there yet. God, I'm so bad at this. It was just last night. Was telling the girls what happened, that she told Colton did the right thing. And Tayshia's like, that's not how it happened. I was there. She said this. And it was just that she said that this could lead to opportunities. Not that she was only there for the opportunities. And then Onyeka still did nothing.
Damn.
Yeah.
So they just basically just took the words and screwed them all around, told him, caused a bunch of problems for no reason.
Caused problems. And then Onyeka...
It's basically like it's the old Wolfgang bailout. I don't know if that's a saying or if that's...
What? The Wolfgang bailout? What?
That may be, I'm not sure if that's an actual saying.
I've never heard that in my life.
Maybe it's a saying my friend made up in 8th grade when we played video games. That's when you would run into a room with a grenade already pulled, and then you kill yourself and you kill the other person. There's a Wolfgang bailout.
What?
When you know you're going to lose...
I've never heard this.
The minute she did this, she pulled the Wolfgang bailout. She runs in with the grenade, and she just bombed both of them. Now they're both going home for sure.
Absolutely. The Wolfgang bailout. Wow, we need to start using that.
It's a saying now.
Yeah, I definitely think they're both toast. I mean, we knew they were going to leave early on anyway just because of the edit. Like, you learn if you watch enough
That's true.
seasons.
And that's what I think Elise was doing.
Yeah.
Because she could tell. I think she knew she was going home, and she was like, well, if I'm going home... It'll be a lot bigger if I'm the one to do it on my own.
Oh, yeah.
It's going to be a lot more interesting if I walk out.
And maybe she can be the Bachelorette. Instead of having to compete with other girls, I'll have men compete for me.
I mean, at that point, I think she knows that's not going to happen. You know what I mean?
People were saying Elise for Bachelorette, like on Instagram and Twitter. They liked her. I don't know if they, to me, what
they didn't even show her really, though, did they?
Her one date made her really likable. She was really cute and sweet. But then this turned at least some of my friends off from what I've heard from them, because like, you know what you signed up for. And I know, yes, when you're there, it's different and reality hits. But like what she's saying is as if she thought she was coming on a show. She thought she was coming on Married at First Sight and didn't know there were 29 other women involved. Like
true.
Girl, you signed it for The Bachelor. Like, you can't use that as your reason.
Yeah, that made no sense to me. Like, I can't, while you're being with other girls, and it's like look, if you're leaving, you have to come up with a more plausible reason than that.
Yeah.
Because the fact of the matter is, now your reason is so bizarre that we know your reason was that you knew you were going home soon, so you just went ahead and did it on your own.
And then started drama with Onyeka and Nicole. What?
And she gave 2 reasons as well. Also, the first one was, okay, so I don't like you hanging out with other girls. But then the second was, and I don't know if I can say yes at the end of this. This is just like, she's just like pulling ideas like, and by the way, I don't know if I like your hair. Like,
yeah, I was like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
And then the weirdest part to me was that when she left, she didn't even say bye to anyone, nor said anything.
She just like walked out, right? Just straight walked.
Walked out. But then on Instagram last night, she's like, I'm so thankful for the opportunity to meet like these amazing girls. And that was what and I'm like, you didn't even say bye to them.
Yeah.
What do you mean? Because I liked her, but I don't know. That whole thing it turned me off to her a little bit. And I was a big Elise fan, but
the thing is, with some of that stuff, I mean, the key is like, yeah, I get it that there are some things that you have to do or some things that are going to happen that maybe you have to have this conversation at a time when you didn't plan to have it, but they're going to go ahead and say, hey, why don't you have this conversation?
Yeah.
That's not, it's kind of manufactured, but it's real. You're still having a conversation. But the thing is to come in with like, to still be yourself and still make the decisions that you would make in the real world. You're just making them and saying those things maybe on someone else's time. You know what I mean? And that to me, her doing that was just that was just straight like a move.
I agree.
It was like a chess piece.
I agree. I
just don't like it when people do like blatant chess piece moves.
Yeah. And I know like it happens a lot in the show, but it's still a turn off.
Yeah.
But before we go, and we don't have a lot of time left, I do want to get into this whole DM situation because
the juicies.
I think guys and girls handle DMs very differently. Have you ever? I already know the answer to this, but I'm going to ask you anyways.
Yes, if it has.
Have you ever slid into the DMs?
Yes.
What is your tactic? What do you say when you slide into the DMs?
See, DMs. The key to DMs is it's just like you said on Hitch. Like once you get the date, your goal is to just not screw it up. Okay, because if they respond, they have interest. So my goal through DMs is to simply, I have interest. Do you have interest? My goal is I want to get you to respond. If you respond, we're good to go.
100%.
So it might just be, hey, I'm not going to say anything interesting. I'm not going to say anything to make you laugh because all I need to know right now is based upon what you see on my page, my face or my voice. If you see me talking, are you interested in that shit? Okay, good. And now I have a response. Now you're interested in that shit. Now I'm going to get to know you like a little bit. We'll move on a little bit to where, like, generally, can you hold a conversation? Once you get to the general conversation, then we can move past and maybe where are you from or do you come to LA? Things like that.
Okay.
But it's simple.
I think it's different rules if you're any type of public figure because if I got a hey message, even if I went to their profile, thought they were cute, I'd never respond.
Really?
I never responded to that. The only times I think I've responded to DMs from people I don't know, we have no mutual friends.
That's true. The check helps because you're verified in that you're not an actual killer.
Yeah,
and
you don't know.
You're doing okay.
And like also, if you're like to me, and I know I've slid in the DMs, and when I do it, I'm like, if they think I'm cute, they're gonna respond, and if they don't, then there's plenty other fish in the sea. It's not that serious. It's a DM. But when I get DMs and the little requests, like. I mostly get weird DMs. I rarely get a DM. Oh yeah, like I've gotten some weird emails in my life. I don't know. There's a lot of creeps out there, but I don't think I've ever responded to a DM from a guy who like I thought was cute and then anything happened. Yeah, only if I knew of them, had a mutual friend, or I personally knew them.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think we need to do a part 2 of this though.
Part 2 of this?
I think next week.
There's a lot of DM stuff to talk about.
I think.
I'll tell you, the only DMs I don't respond to are when people try to make corny jokes.
Why?
Because you don't need to do that.
What kind of jokes?
Not off the bat.
Like what was? Give me an example.
So someone will, I don't even know what, like when it's like a cheesy pickup line or something from the show. Do you accept this rose? And I'm like,
oh, Bachelor jokes.
I'm like, come on, like, look, if you want to hit me up, like a face with those hearts as eyes. That'll do. Then I know you're interested. Now I will convey my interest if I have it back. We'll move from there. We can get into the stupid stuff. But in the beginning, just don't screw it up is the goal.
That's fair. Yeah, I mean, I guess I don't really like cheesy jokes either. I'll laugh at them, I'll joke. Maybe I'll even screenshot and send them to my friends, but I most likely
See, that's
won't
the worst.
respond.
You screenshot that shit, send it to Twitter, then tweet that out, and then you're blocked on everything.
Oh wait, people do that. Oh, but that's
yeah.
different for you. I'm doing this to people that they're like random 50-year-old men that like creep into my DMs. It's weird. I think it's different when you're a public figure because it's just annoying to have, because then people are just doing it to like,
exactly. Or like if I follow them and I'm getting ready to send a message and then I see that they screenshotted me following them and posted on their Instagram, I'm like, well, you bet anything that you thought was going to happen is now definitely not going to happen, because now I know
you know.
Yeah, exactly.
You gotta be smart with that, because I don't know, people nowadays expose you, whatever.
Yep.
But on that note, you guys, Chad, I think we need to do a part 2 next week, because we're getting the time that it's time's
Getting
up.
slippery in the DMs, part 2 next week. Next Tuesday at 4.
Next Tuesday at 4. But in the meantime, you guys can follow me at Renee Ariel on Instagram and on Twitter.
And you can follow me at Real Chad Johnson on Twitter, Instagram, everything.
All right, you guys, we'll be back here next week.
Our
Alrighty,
founder,
thank you.
Keven Undergaro, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.